So I'm JD, and I play guitar. These things are always. I don't do many of these, but mostly because I'm so bashful. But anyway, we'll just talk a bit about certain things that I think are important. Things that have helped me in my development. I grew up in America. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I started playing really young. I was 4 when I started playing, and I was playing in clubs by the time I was 8 or 9. So, you guys ready to go to work? And I was on the road by the time I was 13, and left home early. Don't listen to that part. And eventually I ended up in Nashville right before I turned 21 after playing all of my teenage years traveling all over America. And through a story that I'll talk about a little later, I ended up becoming a session musician for years, playing on records there. And then ended up forming the group that I'm in currently, which bears my name. We've been out on the road these last couple of years, and this is only our second time to Europe. We started this tour a week ago in Paris, and I dislocated this knee right in the middle of the show. And so I've been Dave Grohling it, or BB Kinging it, depending on your generation, ever since, because I didn't want to go home. I wanted to finish the tour. So anyway, it's so that's kind of a synopsis. We'll play a little bit, and then we'll start talking about some concepts, okay? Or for me, lack thereof. So the reason why I started with something like that is because the essence of what I do is very, very simple. The essence of all music is very simple. And I was just talking to a gentleman earlier about it. And what I mean by that is music is, to me, regardless of technique, regardless of anything, it's supposed to emit an emotion. It's supposed to be happy, sad, frustrated, pensive, whatever whatever. It's supposed to convey an emotion. And to me, what I'm attracted to myself is simplistic things that are very emotive. And so what I was trying to exemplify in just doing that simple little blues with a turnaround in it was a couple of things. One is the importance of pulse, even without a band. You know, that even though I was not accompanied by anybody, I was still consciously playing through the changes and was still very aware of the downbeat, even though it's, and I was tapping my foot, but I was playing through it as if I was playing with other people, and one of the things that I think has become very common within the modern culture is, practice is important, but to me it's practice within context. And so if you play in any regard, you need to be playing as if you were in a band, because if all you just do is if you're just squiddling about on the fingerboard, there's a difference between that and like making music, and it's like thinking in context of beat is important, and it's the fundamental of what all music is based on, is rhythm, So me unaccompanied playing something like that and playing through changes and keeping that quarter note pulse as best I could. I'm not claiming I do anything well. Let me get that at square first and foremost. It's my attempt though. But then the other thing about that is that in very basic kind of phrasing, if you will, nothing I did there was that harmonically complex by any means, but I was erring heavily on my phrasing, meaning the way that I was against that quarter note pulse, the way I was phrasing against the beat, So, if I'm meaning that as the bar line is passing me by, I'm playing with it. I'm not playing in a linear sense where I'm not going. I'm not playing right on the bar line. I'm letting it breathe and I'm letting it kind of pass me by and I'm having fun with it. And then the other thing is that I was trying to exemplify in that passage is, the importance of hand strength and finger vibrato, which to me, you can know the least amount about what you can do on this fretboard, but if you have good phrasing and you have good hand strength and good vibrato, that's, especially in blues music, Freddie King, B.B. King, Albert King is probably the greatest example of a guy who had a very limited vocabulary of what he could play, but he had such amazing vibrato and he had such great phrasing that you could listen to him all night. And it, to me, that's more difficult, to sound interesting in that context than having a bunch of technical aspects of things that you can do personally. So that's what I was trying to exemplify in that passage. And so